Welcome to the English Matura with JB podcast. Today, we'll dive into the history of International Workers' Day, which is celebrated on the 1st of May. The fight for an 8-hour workday in 1886 led to one of the most dramatic labor protests in history, with 400,000 workers striking across America and 7 people sentenced to death for a crime they likely didn't commit.
That's such a pivotal moment in labor history, the Haymarket Affair. It's fascinating how a peaceful strike transformed into this watershed moment for workers' rights globally.
Well, what really gets me is how quickly things escalated in Chicago. The first 2 days were completely peaceful, but then on day 3, the police opened fire on unarmed protesters. Several workers were killed just for demanding basic rights we take for granted today.
And then there was that mysterious bomb the next day that changed everything, right?
Exactly. 7 police officers and 4 workers died in the chaos. And here's the thing, they never found who threw that bomb, but they still arrested 8 workers and sentenced 7 to death, even though there was no evidence linking them to the bombing.
That kind of injustice must have really galvanized the labor movement.
Oh, it did. And you know what's interesting? The Haymarket Affair became a powerful international symbol. That's why May 1st was specifically chosen as International Workers' Day. It's when socialist parties and unions started organizing demonstrations for the 8-hour workday.
You know, looking at modern working conditions, it seems we're facing similar challenges, just in different forms.
That's so true, especially since the 2008 financial crisis. We've seen this huge rise in what we call the gig economy, where companies hire workers for short term jobs without providing basic benefits. It's as if we're seeing some of those same historical struggles play out in new ways.
Hmm? And how do different countries handle International Workers' Day now?
Well, it varies significantly. In countries like South Africa, Tunisia, and China, it's a public holiday. But even in places where it's not official, like France, Japan, and the US, you still see major demonstrations. What's fascinating is how the day has evolved to address modern workplace issues, such as automation and digital surveillance.
That's really interesting how the movement adapts to new challenges while maintaining its core principles.
And you know what's particularly relevant now? The pandemic really exposed many workplace inequalities, essential workers having to choose between health and income, while others struggled with remote work challenges. It's brought new urgency to discussions about sick leave and safe working conditions.
So, in many ways, we're still fighting for some of the same basic rights, just in a different context.
Exactly, and that's what makes International Workers' Day so important today. Those early labor activists couldn't have imagined issues like AI replacing jobs or digital surveillance, but their fight for dignity and fair treatment is just as relevant. The methods change, but the principles remain the same.
Looking ahead, what do you think are the biggest challenges for modern workers?
Well, we're seeing several critical issues emerging. There's a push for living wages rather than just minimum wages. Studies show that in most major cities, minimum wage workers often need to hold multiple jobs just to afford basic housing. Then there's the growing concern about workplace surveillance and data privacy, plus the ongoing struggle for work life balance in our always connected world.
Those challenges seem even more complex than the ones faced by workers in 1886.
You're right, and that's why understanding this history is so crucial. When those Chicago workers first demanded an 8-hour day, it seemed impossible. But they succeeded, and their victory paved the way for countless other reforms. It shows that significant change is possible, even when the odds seem overwhelming.
That's such a powerful reminder of why we still need International Workers' Day.
And you know what? Every May 1st serves as both a celebration of past achievements and a call to action for current challenges. Whether it's fighting for gig worker rights or pushing back against excessive workplace surveillance, the spirit of solidarity that drove those Chicago workers continues to inspire modern labor movements around the world.